Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Q&A. Today I have just been cleaning up the shop after getting the whole parts charger stripped and everything, and it's just been quite a process. So I wanted to get the shop all nice and cleaned up, so then I could bring in the charger project and start bolting the doors on, figuring out what I need to do, and probably end up welding the inner structure for the Magnum hatch, and then start working on the Charger trunk slash Magnum hatch grafting. But yeah, I didn't want it just a bunch of clutter and everything. I had the pallets of SRT8 Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Trackhawk engines just sitting here. I stuck them over here, so they're all nice and under the rack, and just kind of waiting to be rebuilt. The Trackhawk transmission. Oh, my camera is kind of dirty. Has like a halo around it. That's better. Yeah, so all that stuff over there. I'm gonna mess with the supercharger stuff. I'm doing a video on the supercharger rebuild because it was pretty crispy. So I've just been kind of going through it, getting it back to, cleaning everything up, and I'll probably end up coating all of this stuff. Probably end up porting the inside of the snout, as well as this. The rotors actually have a few little nicks in the. I think this is Teflon coating. I think they're Teflon coated. There's a few little nicks, so I'll probably just blast these and then recoat them. I really wish I could find a billet aluminum alternative, because these things are actually pretty heavy. And yeah, I've just been kind of cleaning some of this stuff up while I have had time. These are the push rods. They were pretty crispy, but well, they weren't really crispy. They had a lot of just coked oil just baked on them, because the engine, it was just kind of hot and just sitting there. So just pretty much working on stuff. Now that I have doors and everything, I think the project will move a little bit further forward. It still won't have the quarter panels, but I mean, it will be really nice to see the hatch done and the doors on it. I just think that that'll make all the difference. A lot of people, I don't think, can imagine what the car is going to look like without doors on it. It's just really hard to envision, because right now it's pretty much just a shell. So I think once the doors are on it, a lot of people will be more hyped about the project. So that's kind of the reason behind buying that parts car and then stripping it. It actually took a little bit longer to strip than I usually take to strip cars, because I kept forgetting to bring fuel jugs, because the fuel tank was full, and then you have to pull the filler neck off to drop the rear subframe. I did end up dropping the rear subframe. I ended up deciding to do that just because I wanted to lay them next to each other. So here's the Trackhawk rear subframe. Here is the Charger rear subframe. And you can see quite a few differences just by looking at them. The diff housing bolts, and these subframes I'm pretty sure are exactly the same as the Hellcat ones, because I looked at the Scat Pack one and it looks exactly the same. So I'm guessing that this spacing for the Trackhawk just is a little bit beefier differential because the car is heavier. The plan with this is, though, I'm doing right now a video on, in the background, I'm doing a video on the a fixture table that I'm making, that I designed, and now I'm going to have a company in Colorado Springs water jet all the 1/4-inch steel out so I could have this table. And the first project I'm going to do on it is a rear subframe for the Charger. And really all I'm going to do is mount the Trackhawk subframe, then make a bunch of brackets where all the locations are for the rear sway bar, the arm mounts. All of these mounts right here are for the upper arms, and then down here is the one piece lower control arm. And the plan with this is once I get that made, I'm going to come and lay this over it and then do the same exact thing. But I want to just pretty much cut. These are almost the same. These I'm not exactly sure what to call them. They're kind of like I don't know. They bolt the subframe to the car, but it's like a piece of channel that's from the factory. What I plan on doing with this is actually cutting the center off. So these are all just welded on both of these, and then I'll just swap the Trackhawk one onto the Charger channel, and then everything for the Charger will directly bolt in, and then I'll use all the locations for all the arms, because all these arms are in the channeling. So I don't know. I think that's going to work. It sounds like a good idea in my head, but I think just chopping these and then welding those snouts on the ends, I don't think that's going to work. And you can see how much larger the bolts are for the Trackhawk compared to the Chargers and Challengers. So yeah, I think I'll have a rear subframe done pretty quick once I get that fixture table made. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing all week. Stripping the Charger, designing a fixture table, doing some stuff with a supercharger, doing some stuff with the calipers. I'm rebuilding the calipers. The kit for the supercharger and the calipers should be here in sometime this week, I think. So I still got to decide what color I'm going to powder coat the supercharger and what color I'm going to powder coat the brake calipers. I was thinking the same color for the brake calipers. I was thinking the same color as the wheels on the FC. Since the car is most likely going to be blue, I think that would be a very complementative color. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I still haven't decided. I still haven't decided on the color of the car. I'm kind of leaning towards one way, but I saw one in red and rendering in red, and I really don't think red's gonna look good. So I think a lighter color is where it's at. But let's see what you guys are saying, since this is a Sunday Q&A and I've been neglecting you guys. Let's see. Hey Dave, love the show. Thanks. Let's see. Nice work. Thanks. Hello there. What's going on? Am I late? No, this just started up. Yes, sir. Can't wait to see the Dodge wouldn't build. Great job on the Hellcat. What's the paint code? It's just octane red. There's a million variants. So I think what happens when Dodge paints those cars is they just have, well, I mean, when they paint any car, they just have 55-gallon drums. But since it's like a tri-coat, it's each car is like a different color. So it's there's a million variants out there. I have a question. Can you take build suggestions? Can I drive it when you ready? So I think it's safe to say you're a Mopar man. I mean, I would say that I enjoy all cars, unless it's, I don't know. There's certain ones that are just kind of not me, but I mean, I like driving a lot of different cars. I like pretty much all manufacturers have their own little niches that I like, and it just, you know, you can't just pick one thing because there's so many cool things out there to drive. I like the fact that you use other similar cars to upgrade or convert and finish your project cars. Thanks. What's the tail light plan for the Super Magnum? It's just going to have the Charger bottom of the trunk. Hi to you, Dave. What is going up, Robert? What's going on, Robert? How many hours do you think you'll end up having in the car? Pretty much for the body, I don't think it'll be too many hours. I mean, it really doesn't take that much time. I'd say maybe, I don't know, like if you were working like 48-hour or like 40-hour weeks, you'd probably have a month worth of time into having the body completely done and painted. But for all the custom fabrication, since it's all going to be the subframes, is what I'm really referring to. The making something takes a lot longer, so I'm not exactly sure what that's gonna, you know, how much time that's gonna take, because I do have to figure out how everything's gonna work together, make it work, make sure all the suspension pickups are in the right locations. Like with those rear subframes, I have to make sure that, because I'm using all the Trackhawk lower control arms and arms, just because I like how I just feel like they're a little bit more beefy. I just feel like they are a little bit more well thought through than the Challenger and Charger setup. But that being said, I have to still figure out how all those locations are going to be on the subframe, and then make sure that once the subframe's in the car, that it's going to be alignable. I mean, you can't, I mean, I could put adjustable arms on it and then it would 100% be alignable, but to use all the stock components, you really have to make sure that everything's spot on, or it just won't work. I mean, you'll just have to, you know, do all kinds of crazy stuff to make it work. And at that point, you might as well just do it right the first time and just kind of, you know, just kind of get it done. So let's see. When will be the next Magnum build? So I actually have been thinking about the next Magnum build. After this one is done, I have been wanting to do something a little less extreme for maybe somebody that, maybe for some of the viewers that can't really afford to do a Hellcat swap or do a, you know, a 392 swap or something to that extent. I mean, even, you know, some people like a 5.7 is kind of expensive. So what I have been thinking is I have the red Magnum outside that has a good title, and I have all the interior out of the Charger that I just got, and it's all good, and I have the good dash. So this Magnum out here, this one is a really clean body. And then I was thinking that I have this spare V6 over here that came out of the theft Charger that's completely good, low miles. It has the 8-speed transmission. I have an ECU. I have the wiring harness. All I would have to do is bolt this V6 into that Magnum. I have these cats right here out of the wrecked Charger. So back here, both of these kind of got a little bit tweaked. So what I was thinking is I could cut these off down here somewhere, or cut them off right there at that weld, and then I could do a nice single turbo V6 with the 8-speed transmission, all the new electronics again into that Magnum, and then just have a really nice, you know, a more subtle V6 turbo Magnum, because they don't make a V6 turbo. And I think I just feel like a turbo would be where it's at, because it'd bump the horsepower up a little bit. It'd be a little bit faster. It'd still have the 8-speed transmission, and it'd have all the new features. And then I could, you know, instead of chopping that Magnum up or doing something with it, I could just, you know, throw the V6 in it, do the interior, and then just kind of get rid of it. Maybe sell it for a little bit less than what I'd sell the Scat Pack swap one, but probably not even mess with the seat rails or anything like that, and just kind of go from there. But that's just a thought. I've been thinking about it, but I want to get this Charger Magnum conversion kind of finished first. So we need some SR20 VVL rear wheel drive build. Yeah, so that I need to still find. It's very hard to find clean front end frame components for an S13. So if I can ever find some, that build will be coming along. But that's just one of those things. I'm just kind of waiting on the parts. Let's see. You should do Magnum point of view. What? You see the article in Auto Evolution? Yeah, so somebody sent me the link to the article. Actually, a few people sent me the link, and it's actually pretty cool that it doesn't seem like it's that big of, it's not like 1320 did an article or anything, but it's still pretty cool. So I appreciate them writing an article and kind of supporting the build. I mean, and you know, hopefully there's more to come. Once it starts to look more like a car and it gets a little bit more hype behind it, I hope that maybe some others do the same. But I was really kind of pumped that somebody wrote an article on a build that I'm doing, because I've never had that before. So it's just kind of cool, I think. how big is the Hellcat motor in comparison to the LS? They're pretty much the same size. I mean, an LS and this Hellcat or Trackhawk or whatever you want to call it, they're pretty much, they look exactly the same without an oil pan and heads. It looks like the exact same thing. So I don't know. I think they're very similar. This the LS obviously that I have my 240s aluminum, but the 6 liters, I mean, are iron. So actually this is I think the 6 liters and the Chevy 6 liters aren't the same type of iron. I'm not exactly sure. They did something with this. This is heat treated and has all kinds of stuff. If you read the article on the designing of the Hellcat engine, they did quite a few different things with the metallurgy. In the block, the heads are actually T6 or T5. No, T6, I think. They're cast T6 aluminum. So it's I think all the transmission and transfer case are the same. They use a very high grade aluminum. Unlike Volkswagen, I've always had this issue of Volkswagen aluminum. It's just like the worst company like that uses or makes anything out of aluminum. They just go with the cheapest aluminum. It's like pot metal. Everybody says it, but they've been using the same aluminum forever, and it just sucks because it breaks so easily. But yeah, it's pretty much the same as an LS. What's happening with the 3000 GT? Still looking for a side skirt. When am I going to make a Challenger wagon? I mean, I don't know. I have a... Well, that Challenger's kind of messed up outside. I mean, I don't know. Hi, great content. Love it. John in Worcester, UK. Hell yeah, thanks. I have a build suggestion. Do a RV, a boat, a police car, fire truck, ambulance, semi-truck. Huh. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I was thinking about maybe a boat, but then the guy sold it. Does Jesse still have his 1JZ 240? He does. So the whole back will be the red light like the Charger. Yes. 2 or 4-door. It's going to be a 4-door. Use the new Mopar colors. The auto show in LA was displaying a color name Mango, and it didn't look nice. And I don't know, it did look nice. I've seen that Mango color. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I really didn't like it. I don't know what it is, but it's just, I think I'm going more towards the Frostbite blue at this point. It's just, I think it's just gonna complement the car really well. So I was thinking about doing the Soul Red from Mazda, but I saw a rendering that somebody did with a red one, and I just didn't like it. I just didn't like how it looked, how it made the car look. I just feel like the blue is more subtle. So it's most likely going to be blue. Just an FYI. Totally put of the blue, but what's with the what? Hold on. What was the advice you gave to get makeup or general cleanup on the steering wheel? So to get like all that grime and stuff off the steering wheel, it's you could use scrubbing bubbles, but you have to be very careful. Use a lot of water with it and a little bit of scrubbing bubbles because that stuff's really harsh. And right after you do it, wipe it off with a damp cloth, and then use some kind of protectant or something on it, or some kind of, if it's leather, use like some leather conditioner, because the scrubbing bubbles is just really, really aggressive, and that's why it removes all that stuff. So when I did the Subaru, I mean, it, I don't know if the steering wheel was missing some of the I don't know, the fake, whatever it's called, that stuff on the steering wheel. But on the bottom, it just looked like some of it was missing. So, and that car looks like it's been sitting baking in the sun. So I don't doubt it was already like that. But yeah, it's just scrubbing bubbles. Let's see. Does your build have the red key? I don't know what my build's gonna have, but it's gonna be, I don't know what the tunes are gonna be. I'm probably just gonna have a standalone ECU at this point. I'm not sure yet. I may end up just getting I might need to get a Trackhawk engine harness so I could run the wiring harness to the tranny and the transfer case. But I don't know how I'm going to set it up. I wish there was like 3 settings, because then I could have like a 700 horsepower tune, and then I could have like 1,000, and then I could have like 1,300. But it'll probably just be like, I'll probably just do like 700 and like 1,300 or something like that. We'll see. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know if there's going to be keys to really differentiate what power level there is. I guess there would have to be. I guess it really wouldn't. I mean, it really wouldn't matter at that point. But yeah, it's going to have something like that. So we'll see. It'll kind of be like the Hellcat. Let's see. See, do I do cocaine? Yes or no? Nope, I've never done cocaine. Yeah, nope. An updated 2008 Magnum. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Hi from the UK, dropping it late. That's fine. What is the going rate on a Hellcat motor for a second-hand one? It just kind of depends on what you get it for or what you get with it. Sometimes sometimes you can find them for like 10 grand to like 25 grand, just depending on what's with it, wiring harness, if it comes with the coolers, the radiator, the ECU and stuff like that. So just kind of depends on what you get with it, with how much it's going to actually cost. Love watching the progress being made. Do you want a light or dark color for the build? I'm probably most likely going for the light color. Late but made it. That's fine. Any new updates on the wagon? No, I mean just pretty much what was in the last the auction Charger video. I stripped all that stuff off of it, and today after this video I'm going to start working on it once again, pull it back in the shop, push it back in the shop, and start messing with it. So I can't wait to see doors on it. That's one thing that I've really been waiting a long time for. Put a Hellcat engine in a boat. I actually thought about that a long time ago, getting like a a long time ago, I think it was in Havasu. I was going to drive down, and there's like this cigarette boat, and it did have 2 I think it was just LS1s or something in it. It was 2 LS1s, or maybe they're LS3s, something like that, but they're both blown up. And I was like, man, I should get this, because the guy only wanted like 10 grand for the boat, and I could have bought 2 Hellcat engines, let's say 15 grand a piece, and then had, I mean, both those engines make like 700 horsepower. I mean, you'd have like a 1,400 horsepower boat. But yeah, I ended up not getting it because I was like, where am I going to put this huge ass boat? Because it's like a 4-axle trailer, and the boat was huge. And then I'd obviously want to keep it inside, because those boats are worth like 100 grand, especially if it had Hellcat engines in it. And I mean, our lake isn't big enough to justify having a boat that fast. I'd have to trailer it down to Havasu or something, or like Lake Tahoe, to actually enjoy a boat of that, like that. So maybe eventually I'll do something crazy like that, find like a cigarette boat or something, and throw some Hellcat engines in it. But at this point, I'd want to have a shop, so I could have like a dedicated spot in the shop, so I could have my boat stored inside, because you don't want something like that sitting outside in the weather. Let's see. Did the Fastback Mustang sell yet? No, it is just chilling over here. under the car cover. So this is right now. This is the last car that that I did a video of because the Charger sold, and she's just kind of chilling underneath this car cover. These car covers kind of suck, but yeah, she's just chilling, waiting for somebody to buy her. Waiting for somebody to buy her. Paint it Nardo Gray. So Nardo Gray has to be, Nardo Gray is the Civic of paint colors. I'm just saying this right now. Everybody, I don't know what it is. It's such a basic color. The one thing I have to say is I saw a car that was Nardo Gray yesterday, and I think it was a factory color car, and it had like a pearl yellow or something over it, and it just looked really cool because it looked like Nardo Gray from far away, but then as like the sun reflected off of the lines in the body on the car, you could see like the pearl yellow. So but Nardo Gray by itself is it's a Civic of paint colors. It's just everybody wants to do it, and it's just so basic. It's just a basic color. I mean, I could probably single stage Nardo Gray all day long and not even have to worry about it. I mean, it's just one of those colors that it's just a base color. I don't know why it has so much hype. What wheels are you going to put on the Charger-Magnum? So for the time being, I'm most likely going to just throw the Trackhawk wheels on it, and not this one because this one's messed up, but I'm most likely going to throw the Trackhawk wheels on it, and then try to find some wheels, because I'm going to have to figure out what offset I need. The good ones are right here, but I need to figure out what offset I'm going to need because it's going to be wide body. The Trackhawk's not wide body, and I want some pretty meaty tires on it. I want at least, I'd say at least 325s all the way around, but we'll have to see what the suspension and all that stuff can take once it's all sitting on the ground and I have everything measured and figure out the wheel specs. But yeah, I think 325s all the way around is probably going to be the best bet, because it's going to need some contact to the asphalt. But the good thing is they'll be all-wheel drive, so I'm not going to have to worry about it as much like the Hellcat, because it'll actually like hook. And if I put race slicks on it, that thing's really going to hook. And I probably won't put race slicks on it because I don't want to break anything like transfer cases and stuff like that, which I'm not sure what the capabilities are with race slicks and track prepped and stuff like that. But I do plan on doing going to a few drag race events once it's finished, just to kind of see what the times are and stuff with it, because it's all-wheel drive, and I could turn the all-wheel drive off and have it rear-wheel drive and compare them kind of to see. If you still have your Ford F-350, I have a few suggestions for it. Install a train horn and fire truck. I mean, it already has a cargo light in the bed because it has the LED package. Custom front bumper, I don't know about that. Custom tires and wheels, I thought about it, but using it as the actual truck, it makes more sense to just have the wheels that are on it. Am I going to purchase a vehicle from Hertz Rentals? I'm not sure. I've really haven't looked at it. I wonder if they have any like Hellcats or Corvettes or something like that, because I know they have like their premium line. I really haven't even looked at the list of cars that they're going to have available, because they're supposed to be coming up soon because they're going bankrupt. Let's see. The look on your face reading the cocaine question. Man, I must be way back. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Are Magnum front springs different from SRT8? I'm guessing they are because the engines are heavier. I don't know, because I just threw all the stuff off the Challenger onto mine. So out of the sauna and the best thing that could come on Sunday. Thanks. Hellcat boat. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. I thought about that shit like a year and a half ago. I was like, man, I could just buy a boat instead of the Challenger and have a cool boat. But have you thought about getting a Toyota 1GZ FE V12? I have not. I have no need for a V12. They're just really heavy. If I got anything that was a 12 cylinder, it'd probably be a Phaeton. I think they're 12 cylinders. So yeah, a Phaeton. A Phaeton's 12 cylinder, and it'd just be kind of cool to do one of those. How about the new Hellraisin color? Isn't that more like an orange as well? Nardo Gray isn't a color, it's primer. Do I rent the building that I do my builds in? I do. Let's see. Want to buy an original 65 Mustang 289 with less than 30K original miles that runs and drives. I mean, there's already one right there that has like 30,000 miles. So my wife makes my Charger seat smell like fish. Any suggestions? Probably get a divorce or a fire hose. I'm not exactly sure which one. I'm a big fan. Thanks, I appreciate it. Midnight blue. So one color that I've had, I was going to paint the VR4 this color, but I ended up painting it the plum crazy. I still have a whole gallon, which you're not going to believe how much this paint costs, but I have a whole gallon of Midnight Opal for the newer GTRs, and the paint itself, without the discount that I get, is like $3,800 for a gallon. So I have a gallon that's sitting around, and I'm eventually going to paint a car this color. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I was looking at, I was actually playing Forza. I was hoping that they had a like the new wide body Hellcat Charger on Forza, so I could throw some different colors on it and paint it like throw some different colors on it to see what it would look like, and just kind of envision the back as a hatch. But they don't, on my version, I guess they didn't have it, and they have like on the Charger they had like this color that looked like Midnight Opal, and it kind of looked cool. But then I thought, I was like, man, do I really want to paint this car Midnight Opal? I mean, that is going to be a paint job. So that is on the suggestion list of colors, is the Midnight Opal. I already have the paint. It was very expensive, and it'll look cool in the car. It's just one of those things, I'd almost rather have it more subtle than that, and I really don't want it that dark of a color. I think it'll look cool, but at the end of the day, I just don't know if I want it that dark. So I'm still leaning towards the Frostbite Blue, but I think Midnight Opal would be really, really nice on that car, especially because it's like, it almost has like that plum crazy purple, but then it goes 100% to copper, and then it also has some greens and stuff in there. The bottle of pearls, one of them was like $1,000, and they had to use two of them, which was funny because at Sherwin-Williams, they have this thing where if you buy the color and it uses more, it's like a lesser not. So I paid less for the paint than it would have been to buy the pearls or something. It was just stupid. But yeah, I don't know. I hate picking colors. It's such a difficult decision, because once you paint it, especially if I spray it Midnight Opal, I'm not painting it a different color. It's so much paint, so much money in paint that's already on it. So Hellraisin is the dark purple color. Oh. Thanks for missing my question, Dave. Waited ages for you to answer. What question? It wasn't one of those dumb questions, was it? Let's see. I'm looking. Let's see where it's at. What's going on here? Shit, I forgot who asked me that now. Alec. Thank you very much, Mr. Trebek. Let's see. I haven't seen a question. There's no question in here from an Alec. I don't see a question. Yep, there was definitely no question in that whole string of questions. Do you only build high horsepower stuff like the FC and the Hellcat, etc.? I personally like foreign turbo cars. I found your channel because of the Magnum, but why not more content on the Doritos? Following all. So the FC is kind of just a stock build. I just got it running, and it's not really a high horsepower car. It's just a really nice running and driving rotary. So my FD though is for a rotary, it's going to be a pretty high horsepower. 600 to 700 is pretty high horsepower for a 13B, but I still have a lot of work to do on it. I need to design a few parts for it. The turbo manifold is now finished. I need to ceramic coat the turbo manifold. I'm waiting on some titanium 4-inch. The company that me and Trevor buy stuff from bought out another company, and for some reason now a lot of the stuff that they sell is kind of on back ordered. So once I get the rest of the tubing for the titanium exhaust, I can finish the exhaust up and finish some of the other stuff up. But yeah, I just need to really just wait for that stuff because I want to get the exhaust done, and I need to do the new radiator, the electric water pump, and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. That's kind of how my channel works. I design a lot of my own parts because I don't like how things are. I don't just like buying stuff. It's there's a lot of YouTubers that, I could just go on a bunch of different companies, buy all their brand new parts, bolt it onto my car. But at that point, I want to do stuff has more innovation into it, like my bottom mount turbo manifold, the flanges that I made for my turbo manifold. I don't know. That's just kind of what my channel is. It takes my builds a little bit longer. The Hellcat and the Charger and stuff like that are pretty quick because they are there's not a bunch of designing and stuff going on with them. The fixture table that I'm making, I've already designed it. It'll take a day to have them water jetted out. It's not something like having something CNC'd or something like that. So I shouldn't have really anything for the Charger that I have to custom CNC unless I end up making some control arms or something like that. I'm probably not going to end up doing that because I would just want to get the car done, running and driving. And then if I have any desire to upgrade stuff, I can. But yeah, stuff like the FD and the FC, the 240, 3000 GT eventually will, once it's finished being painted and it's all together, I'll probably end up doing a turbo kit and stuff on that. Maybe rebuild the engine so it can handle, reliably 600 horsepower. But it's just one of those things. I mean, you start doing something and then it just never ends. So I'm in Iran and following you. Thanks. Candy red. I was thinking about Soul Red. I mean, that's a candy red. Southern California Junkyard. Have some 3000 GT skirts. I hunt for the parts of my builds there. Let me know if I could help. So the only thing I'm trying to find is which side is it? It's a driver side skirt. And what I'm looking for is one that's not warped in the back. So there's those vents and then they just warp at the top. And I'm trying to find one that's not warped. and then that somebody hasn't tried to pull without pulling the 8mm bolts out of the side skirt. So if they pull those out, then you can't bolt into the car, and they just look like crap. So and one that doesn't have a bunch of tabs busted, which I have one that is perfect, and I just need the other one. Once I get the other one, I could paint it, but I'll eventually find one. Eventually, can't wait to have that thing finished and just be able to look at it. Hello, want a joke? A joke. Somebody retracted their question. How fast can you go? How fast can you go? In what? I mean, the Hellcat does 200. Hopefully the Charger will do over 200. I mean, finding a spot to do 200 is pretty hard though. It has to be very smooth. Let's see. Have you seen or read your article on Google about the Hellwagon build? I have. It's pretty cool. I saw it yesterday, I think it was. Will you go help Sarah Entune with the MR2? I think she has it under control. Would you ever do an EV swap maybe when prices are cheaper? So a few, I don't know. I've been looking for a Honda Element for quite some time. I almost wanted to, I was trying to find, I found a PMM here at the Junkyard, and I tried to see if it fit up with a K-swap, but the thing is they don't work together. So I'd either have to make it outer housing or something like that, but I wouldn't mind having a K-series and a Honda Element with, you know, the all-wheel drive, but have a PMM in between the transmission, because if you have an upgraded one, you can get like an extra like 150 horsepower out of the PMM, and that's like instant. So if I had a turbo K-series, like 800 horsepower with an extra 150 horsepower from the PMM, then I mean, that'd be kind of cool. You'd have no turbo lag. It would regen on decel. I mean, it'd just be kind of cool. I've been thinking about doing EV stuff, but I don't really want to do, I don't know. I really don't want to do Tesla stuff. I don't know. I've been thinking about getting a Tesla and doing some stuff with it, but I don't know if I want to really mess with a Tesla. So I have been thinking about EV stuff. I you know, do a lot of electronics and engineering and stuff like that. It's there, but I don't see it as a means to save the environment. I just see it as a means to like make something go way faster than it should, because it's, you know, it has zero lag. And then if you combine it, so one thing I was thinking about doing was the Hellcat. If I could get the Hellcat with the Challenger, if I could do the Hellcat Challenger, and that company that makes those hub-mounted PMMs. I mean, if that company would make some for the Hellcat, so you can make the car all-wheel drive, get an extra 300 horsepower from the front wheels, I mean, that'd be awesome. So I contacted them and asked them if they wanted like make a setup, but they seemed disinterested, never emailed me back. It's just weird with companies sometimes, but I don't know. Things. Diamond blue with flex in it. It's going to be fast as a normal Charger sedan. Normal Charger sedan. Can you go 200? I mean, you can. Are you going to build a Hellcat wagon? I am. And now, some Russian that I can't read. My mom could probably read that crap. Get a Dodge Power Wagon and put a Hellcat engine in it. I've been looking for a like a crew cab Power Wagon, like an old 41, but those are very hard to find. We know you do builds and Trevor does awesome builds. Would you and Trevor make the eBay Timberlake do some real work and get him on his own project? Who's that? Who's the eBay Timberlake? I don't know who that is. Would you consider putting a Trackhawk hatch spoiler on the Magnum? I'm not sure what they even look like. Both mine were so burnt they didn't have a spoiler on them. Let's see. After your oven got built, you're going to do any powder coating vids, tips or tricks? I've been saving material to build my own oven as well. I think I did a video of powder coating, but I'm going to definitely be powder coating some the brake caliper, the old brake calipers from the Trackhawk. I blasted them. They're ready for the rebuild, but before I rebuild them, I need to powder coat them. Still trying to decide on the color, but I'll have a rebuild video of the brake calipers, I guess, kind of a before and after, because that one was pretty burnt and it's kind of a transformation. So I'm also doing that with the supercharger because the supercharger was pretty kind of destroyed. I'm going to put new bearings in it, new gasket kit, repowder coat it, port it. If I could ever find the upgraded billet ones of these, there was a company that was going to make billet ones. I'll buy them and stick them in here, and then probably end up just selling these ones. But then I could put a lower pulley on this and put this on my Hellcat, pull my Hellcat one off, and then put the Hellcat one on the Charger for now, because it's most likely the Charger is going to end up being supercharged for a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to directly go into turbo because there's a lot of fab work and stuff there, and I don't want it to be a 2-year project or something like that. I want to get it done, get it driving, and go from there. And then we could pretty much do a turbo kit and stuff like that. I'll have a spare engine. I could put the engine onto a subframe, put the engine into a car, and do all the turbo manifolds and everything like that. And then everything could just bolt directly into the Charger. But I don't know. I'll do some powder coating videos coming up. I'm also going to do some other videos with the oven, but that'll be later on. Probably at the same time when I do the brake caliper rebuild and the supercharger rebuild, because I need to coat the FD exhaust manifold as well. So, or the stuff to ceramic coat it and like that chrome looking stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What do you do for a living other than YouTube? I don't know. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I try to wake up in the morning and make some of that money. I don't know. I just do random things. I mean, if you I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I just do random things, make some money, and I mean, if you just focus on one thing and if you don't pursue a bunch of different avenues to make money, I mean, there's just so much you can miss out on. So I mean, I just do a lot of stuff. It's just that's all how I could really explain it. I don't have a real job. I did have a real job. Real jobs are pretty much, I mean, going to college, getting a real job, getting a career, to me, after experience working for a Fortune 500 company, is kind of a joke. So if you can make money without doing all that, or start your own business, or do something that has its own niche or something like that, I would definitely do it, pursue that, because working for a Fortune 500 company is like working for McDonald's. It's just not, you're never gonna get anywhere. It's never gonna make, unless you strive to become the CEO of a company, which most likely is never going to happen unless you know some pretty high up people, or unless your dad owns a company or something like that. It's not going to happen. So just remember that. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on the whole situation of Fortune 500 companies and companies in general. If they feel like getting rid of you for their shareholders or something like that, or some just meaningless thing, they just can't. So it's pretty much their loss. I mean, I'm really happy that I liked my job when I worked at Cummins. I really liked the challenges of it, but the politics of working at a company like that is just ridiculous. I mean, there's just so many people. They all expect to be pleased, and then when the shares go down, they just lay off. Like, they close whole plants and stuff. It's just pretty ridiculous. I went through quite a few layoffs before I got laid off, but it's just one of those things. Let's see. What's my next project? I have no clue yet. Where did you learn to do all the stuff, man? You have such amazing skills. Pretty much I learned everything by just doing it. I'm really a hands-on person. When I worked at working at Cummins, when you start a job like that, they pretty much just train you. I mean, you have to have a college education, you have to have all this stuff and all this BS, but from day one, they're going to train you on all the computer systems. They have their own pretty much college, and I went to plenty of different classes. There's military classes, there's transfer switch classes, there's all kinds of different things that you go to, but you get paid to do it. But yeah, so a lot of people, we had like a transfer switch class, and it's a transfer switch is pretty much it just disconnects and connects power with electronics, so you're not doing it manually. But the thing about it is there is a shitload of wiring and a bunch of relays and all kinds of electronics inside the box, and there's like this thick book. So you could either read that book like most of the people did, or you could figure out how shit's working, and you can just go and pull one of them apart and put it back together, and then start disconnecting stuff and troubleshooting it and figuring out what does what. And to me, I knew more from doing that than the people that read the book did, because they're always asking me questions. It's like, go mess with one of the transfer switches. That's your job. But well, I mean, that wasn't my only job, but to know how to do that stuff was pretty important. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember what the question was. Let's see. Where do you sell these builds when you're finished? Pretty much people could just contact me, DM me on my Instagram. Most of the time I don't even sell my stuff because nobody ever wants to pay what it's worth. And for like the Hellcat, I mean, the Hellcat, it does have a salvage title, but for me to buy the same exact car, it's going to be like $66,000. So it's better for me to just keep it for however many years I'm going to keep it, enjoy it, drive it around, and then eventually it's going to even out and level out. Or I could, somebody will offer me something on it, I'll sell it, or I'll pull the engine out of it and put it in something else, or who knows, I'm not sure yet. But everything's for sale that I have. It's just, it all has a price, and all the prices are in my head. You just have to DM me on Instagram. It's just one of those things. I really don't sell much stuff because I really have no reason to sell it. So except for space. I mean, the Hellcat is going to have to get sold once the Charger's done, because the Charger needs to be parked in the garage, and I don't want the Hellcat sitting outside. So I guess I could park the FC outside, but the FC looks so good in the garage. Or I could just give my grandma the Hellcat and fucking throw her car in the scrap pile, and then that I could have both Hellcats in the garage and the FC in the garage. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Put a V8 in a Volkswagen. I mean, Volkswagens, some of them come with W12s. Let's see. Who do you watch for entertainment on YouTube? I really don't watch much YouTube. I watch Netflix and not Pandora. It's and Amazon Prime. So just shows, movies. I really like movies. Shows are just kind of, I don't know. You get into shows and then you have to watch them all. So do a Pearl White. Yeah, I don't know. Pearl White would be kind of bland. Can you do a cold start in the Magnum for us now? It's on the top of the lift and I'm not climbing up there. It's all the way on the top. Maybe next week, because I'll lower the lift down because the Charger will be in the other bay and I won't have to I mean, this lift takes a hell of a long time to come down. And I need to put I'm going to put the SRT8 calipers on this instead of these stupid, I don't like these little Brembos. Plus these rotors are pretty warped. So I'll have to get some of the larger rotors for this, which will be nice. Did I watch the new El Camino movie sequel to Breaking Bad? I never watched Breaking Bad, and I don't think I've watched that movie yet. One movie I'm waiting for to come out is A Quiet Place 2, but it's like delayed for 3 months now. Stupid fake coronavirus crap. But yeah, now I have to wait another 3 months. It's like waiting for Dodge parts. I'm waiting for this movie. It's disappointing, but I'm still waiting. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I just definitely, I don't know. I just watch what I want. I wish I had all the stuff to get this done. Need to figure out what color I'm going to powder coat the supercharger. I was almost thinking about coating it in a heat dissipating color. There's a they only come in like black, which is weird. But there's this special coating that you could spray these with. You coat it and then you bake it kind of like powder coat, but it removes heat from the aluminum, which is really nice. So I might end up doing that with this, and then it'll kind of, you know, it has the coolant and stuff in it running through where the hell did I put those at? Running through these coolers over here, but it still has heat that it has to reject from the aluminum casing, which I think will be really nice if I did that. And it would be really subtle and black. I wish it could be like a color, like gold, or maybe like bronze or something like that would be kind of cool. But I need to get new bearings as well. Let's see. Do I love the Fast and the Furious movies? I think I was pretty much done with them after Tokyo Drift. I don't know. I watch them, but at this point, they're just kind of out there. I mean, they're not really a car, like for car people. It's like for like everybody. I mean, they're for like people that are like a bunch of action and stuff. It's not like the first one where there's a bunch of cool cars. There was I mean, it was just kind of like if you went out, you could go to like a street race or something like that, and then, you know, there's always shady stuff going on in street races, and it just kind of went to the culture. Now it's just like Mission Impossible, which to me isn't that appealing, but I mean, some people like it. Would I ever build a 4-rotor or a 3-rotor? I have been thinking about 4-rotor. I was almost gonna convert my FD to a 4-rotor, but I might just finish my FD and then maybe eventually get another FD and then do that one. See, I have these ideas. I was thinking I could get like another FD and have a 3-rotor, and then another FD and have a 4-rotor, but I don't know. Eventually, I want to have a 4-rotor because they sound wicked. Yeah, but I don't even know where the story's going. It doesn't like, it's not going anywhere. Would I build a twin engine car? I mean, maybe. Twin engine forklift. How about that? Let's do that. Twin engine forklift. Good early morning for New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. Good evening, Dave, from a very cold and raining Cape Town. What's up? Not much. Just getting ready to work on the Charger. Need to push it in. I didn't even notice this was already an hour long. So I'm gonna start working on the Charger and this live stream here so I can get some progress made on this car and actually make it look like a car. I mean, once the hatches has you know, once the trunk and the hatch are kind of grafted together and the doors are on the car, it's gonna look amazing. I think a lot of people will actually have, you know, kind of an idea of what the car's gonna look like. But I'm gonna end the video here, live stream. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week. Tune into the stupid wind. Tune into the videos throughout the week, and I appreciate everybody that watches. See you guys next time.